Okay, so just kind of working through some issues on the car. Um, my reverse lights don't seem to be working. I know they were working before I started tearing everything apart. So I'm gonna go through, do a little troubleshooting, and see what I can figure out. Hopefully I can fix this thing. Um, I did lay under there a few weeks ago when I realized that they weren't working. Found a broken bulb, found a wire that was just kind of hanging. So got some new bulbs in there and just did a quick look. Didn't see anything. Pulled the connector apart. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's located on the driver's side towards the back marker light on the inner side of the car, if that makes sense, underneath by the gas tank, sort of. Maybe closer to the filler tube. And it's actually not a bad design, but I know that it can get corroded and there can be some issues with that. So gonna go through, get this thing outside where I can open the doors and kind of lay around in the car, as uncomfortable as that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I got a few hours before I got to pick my daughter up from school, and let's get started. That's Moo, our shop dog and trained assassin. Her prey drive is pretty crazy. There's not a squirrel, rabbit, bird, raccoon, mouse, or any other type of animal or insect, for that matter, that makes it through this yard. She's a bit nuts. All right, so I'm gonna dig under here. Excuse the mess. But like I said, I've been trying to get some miles on this thing. I'm gonna pull the dash ducting apart under here and give myself a little room to see what's going on. I don't know if you can see that, but the switch is working, so that's a good thing. My problem is going to be in the wire heading back to the lights. So I thought I was good and no mice, but the amount of bird seed in some of the cracks and crevices of this thing lead me to believe that any wiring issues that I have are probably due to our little furry friends, even though Moo does a good job of rodent deterrent. I still have a little of those pesky critters. The other thing I should note is that this thing is going to need floorboards, so there might be some corrosion going on somewhere that's making for a bad connection. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that from that angle. I'll get a better picture, but there's a wire molding here, and that carries the harness back to the rear of the truck. So I'm checking in here to see if I got power. I'm pretty sure it's one of these green wires. That is the power feed for the reverse lights. So I'm gonna double check I got power here. The switch, and then see how far back it makes it. Alright, so it's a light green wire in this loom going back. So now I'm going to head back to the back and see if I got power at the connector. So that there is the loom. And this here, I don't know if you can see it, is the wire molding. Got my stereo cable in there for my speakers. But I got power to this light green wire, which is the feeder for the rear reverse lights. So let's go back there and check and see if I got power to at least the connector. So this is the connector here. And like I said, I was playing with it before, and if you check that out, that's what almost 50-year-old wires look like after they're exposed to the elements. So eventually what I'm going to do, because the wiring is kind of nasty and I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to wiring, I'm probably going to just build my own loom. I've got most of the tools, and I'll buy some spools of wire and probably wire this thing. I don't know if anybody aftermarket makes them or has them, but I don't mind doing the actual work myself, so that'll be kind of fun. And then as I'm looking under here, I see some stuff that I might have missed while I was working on the body. So I'm going to be cleaning that up and getting some fresh paint on there. Probably do that stuff in the spring because I'm going to be putting this away soon enough. So this here is the fuel sender, and then this is the reverse stop, brake, and license plate. So it's these two wires that are being fed for the reverse lights. So let's take this off. There's what that plug looks like. Those green wires are going to, I'm guessing it's that middle connector, which you can already see from here. That's a little bit corroded. Let me ground this light and see if I can dig around and get some connection. Let's see if I'm right here. Hey. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Probably gonna have to consult my manual. Wiring diagram to see what's going on there. Alright, let me take a look at that and I'll bring it back. Alright, well, before I went to the book, I put a better ground, and you can see I got power. So, I'm gonna have to see what's going on with these feeder wires and the rat's nest that it is. So, yeah, like I said, you can see some of those nasty connections. Let me take a few minutes and clean that up, see what I can make happen here. Cleaned up that connector a little bit. I got power. I cut out the butt connector that was in here. Touched these two together. And we got light. So I'm about 50% done. I gotta figure out why the other light isn't working. I'm pretty certain it's gonna be the same situation. All right, let me get this thing cleaned up and I'll bring it back and hopefully everything will be ready to go. All right, so this ended up being the culprit. And by all accounts, I must have known because I had a socket sitting in my parts drawer. I was going to clean off this corrosion and what have you, but as I stated before, I'm going to be remaking this harness, so when I do that, I'll wire in these sockets all direct, and that'll be that. That's a little better. So that's a little better. And that's been eating at me for a long time. Well, at least since I got the car back together. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I got a few more small projects on deck for the El Camino, but pretty much it's going to be put away in the next probably few weeks, and then I'll be starting to work on the Corvair. So I'll unveil that in a couple weeks. And here is the donor car. Got every single nut and bolt that you need, but definitely has a slight structural problem due to the beautiful weather that we have in the Midwest.